right, we just got back from Turtles Out of the Shadows.
It was better.
Yeah.
There's that.
Overall, it was a much better film than the fucking thing that preceded it.
It wasn't good.
No.
Like, not at all, but it was better.
It has moments of being good, and then moments of, why are we watching this?
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that are fun to watch, as long as you turn your brain off.
Yeah, it's totally brainless when it is good in this movie. It's not like, man, this is actually a good film, like the original 90 film.
Yeah.
There's no moments really like that. They do try to do some more characterization with the turtles, which is much appreciated. It was way better.
Yeah, they're not stereotypes this time. They're just, they feel a bit more natural. They feel like they're kind of the turtles.
Yeah, you get more of a sense of who they are in this one. They get, like, it starts off with the turtles, and immediately it's like, okay, this feels much better already, just starting with them and doing some stuff.
Yeah, there's like a whole intro scene that was just really fun to watch, where they're like on top of the Empire State Building, and they leap off, and there's some like, you know, visual gags and things like that, and they're just sort of doing ninja shit for a while.
It's kind of like that moment with them in the elevator that you had to wait till almost at the end of the movie to finally get.
Yeah, it was like there's several of those type of moments, and like there's a whole bunch of like, hey, remember the 80s cartoon? You like that? Well, here's a lot of that.
It's cool to see some of that.
Yeah.
Because, like, we were talking about, you know, Krang's been a rumor to be in a movie for a long time. So it was nice to finally actually see Krang in a live-action movie.
Yeah, because I remember being, like 10 or 11 and hearing that rumored for, like, Turtles 4, and it never happened.
Yeah. Even, like, Turtles 2, there's some of that going on. And, like, Turtles 3, I think maybe before it really got cemented about what a shit show it would be, back when people were still excited for a Turtles 3. They just kind of haphazardly slapped in a lot of the references, though. So it's just like, what? Like, the first major Krang scene, when he finally shows up, as like he just starts talking to Shredder like they've been buddies for a long time, and I was like, I whispered over to you, I was like, did we miss an episode in between here?
Yeah, it was really weird too, because like they did like this weird like camera pan down to this thing that looked alien, and they're like, oh, do we teleport Shredder yet? And then they're like, not yet. Oh, we got to do it now. And then it's like, oh, you can teleport him? You have alien shit? Yeah. Where did that come from? You didn't explain it at all. You just have like a smart Baxter Stockman dude.
Yeah, like he was part of the organization back when, just not doing anything. Like, why aren't you teleporting him out of jail? Like, it was apparently a last ditch thing, but still, it's like, what if you never had a chance to even get this far with him? Because it's during, you know, the classic prisoner transfer.
Yeah, prisoner transfer in an unguarded vehicle.
Yeah.
In like an abandoned highway that apparently only ninjas and the Ninja Turtles have access to.
One of the cops is Casey Jones, which is a whole nother bullshit thing, but he's apparently the only one who sees the turtles come by in their toy that shoots the manhole covers, which is pretty great.
The turtle van is actually awesome.
Yeah, they had it doing shooting the manhole covers. It was funny.
Like they went really over the top with it. Like it has arms that have nunchucks and it, like Michelangelo's using, and they actually I thought, like, I saw a bit of that in the trailer, and I thought it was going to be shitty, but the way they did it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
mindless fun.
Like,
like most of the good things in this movie.
Yeah, it's really, if it was just, like, a CG movie where it was just, like, nonstop turtle action, I think it would have been pretty alright.
Yeah.
It's like the humans interaction stuff and some of the other plot lines were kind of nonsense.
Almost it'd be better if it's all CG, if they're going to be CG turtles.
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but I still don't find CG gels that great with it. Especially when you look at it very close up. It's just like...
Yeah. Well, them and like real human actors, I know they tried to make them more human, which is almost part of the problem. But it's like, they don't fit.
I feel like part of this is a 3D cartoon, and then there's other people over there watching it.
So do we talk about Plank of Wood Lady?
Megan Fox is still the worst thing in this movie. Like we were saying, a lot of this seemed like it's trying to sweep away some of the bad elements from the first movie, but she's the worst holdover from the first film, and she's still here. Dialed back quite a bit from the first movie.
She has way less to do in the movie, which is good.
Yeah, much appreciated on that. But
her intro, oh my god! So
immediately was just the second we saw her.
So her intro, she's wearing a wig, and she's dressed up looking kind of slutty, and then she's there to like glean info from Baxter Stockman for the Turtles, and at no point do they really imply that she's a reporter anymore. She's just kind of doing shit with the Turtles now.
Yeah, we weren't sure if she is still a reporter or if she is still fired from the events of the first movie until like the end of it.
Yeah.
Where she just suddenly like, oh yeah, I still do this. Signing out. Channel 6. Ah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Get her off TV.
Well,
you see Whoopi Goldberg like, no.
Yeah. No Whoopi Goldberg. So happy that's not a thing.
She was pointless in the first
movie. It was just like, it was like a cameo for her. Like, hey, Whoopi Goldberg playing Whoopi Goldberg as Whoopi Goldberg.
No William Fichtner as I was wondering if we're just going to have a cut back to that building he was knocked out in, and he's still there. But yeah, then Megan Fox did that stupid clothing change thing.
My God.
Go into her Squirrel Girl outfit.
Yeah.
But they conveniently cut away when she is like dropping her pants so that she would just be wearing the skirt. Like, there's no way, unless they were like tearaway pants, that was easy. She's probably there walking like, like the mouse stuck on her ankle. I didn't think this through.
That's like the whole setup for that scene, because it was like her trying to get data from Baxter Stockman's crime computer of some kind, and then she like hits on him to do that while she gets close with her like idiot-proof turtle watch.
Yeah.
And then Baxter Stockman's crime buddy takes his crime computer and walks away with it. So her way to get info off of that thing was just to be really slutty and wear a schoolgirl outfit.
This guy's like posing with a bunch of other girls in a schoolgirl outfits for no reason.
Yeah, and she sees like, oh, schoolgirl outfit, I'll do that.
But what? Why is that happening anyway? Why is this guy who has this super important thing for the Foot Clan going, well, I have time to pose randomly with girls for a photo or something?
Yeah.
Well, this is my only in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the outfit you were wearing first was fine. You could have just went and posed with them.
She was, like, dressed pretty sultry to begin with.
Yeah, it was fine early. She could have just posed with them. I was like, no, it has to be a different one.
Yeah, she has to strip down and, like, tie up her shirt like a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
She's basically Britney Spears.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, let's just beat into your head again. She's hot, okay?
Yeah.
Understand? Did you watch the first movie? Did you not believe us when we told you it a million times? And we had Neil deGrasse Stockman.
Baxter
Tyler Perry.
Yeah, he was like the most generic, like nerdy type person ever. He was like, evil. I like evil.
That was his laugh. Still probably the best thing as Tyler Perry's done.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like Baxter in some of the other things. Yeah.
Just all right, Medea Stockman. Oh,
he's similar to Baxter in like the Nick cartoon and like the IDW comics and things like
the
that.
The original,
yeah,
it's close enough.
But yeah, he didn't really contribute to the movie much, other than anytime Shredder needed something science related, he was science guy who did science stuff.
Hey guys, science me up, all right? Okay, I got the science. Just like who was it? Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, he was talking about like great scientists.
Blanked on his name for a second.
Oh, all those great scientists, including Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
There'll be nothing in comparison to Baxter Stockman.
Steve Jobs was an average business owner, but he was a brilliant scientist.
Yeah, they go like Einstein, Isaac Newton, Steve Jobs.
What?
Yeah.
Was he a scientist?
I feel like he was trying to list off famous scientists and he drew a blank and he's like, fucking, I don't know, Steve Jobs.
Would have been better if he just blanked.
Yeah.
And, other guy.
Yeah. More science people. It's kind of asking for way too much, like, cleverness in the writing, I think.
They were rushing so many points just so that they could get to like this almost classic 87 Turtles cartoony formula. So it's like, oh, look, we got the Turtles fighting Bebop and Rocksteady. It's like, it's cool, but you kind of just glanced over everything to get there. You're like, all right, this, and then, yay, now we got this.
Because it was like Turtles, Shredder escape, he teleports, meets Krang. Like, Krang gives him, mutagen, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's mutagen, right?
Yeah.
Even though the turtles were transformed with mutagen.
Yeah, he gives them weird purple mutagen, which is like, I don't know, it can turn the turtles into humans for no particular reason.
Yeah. They kind of just use that as a plot device and don't explore it, which is good.
Yeah, it was actually used for some decent character moments with them where they want to be normal so that they can have a normal life and stuff,
Yeah.
It's something way better than just having them go, hey, I'm angry, I'm stupid. But, oh, fuck, they did give Michelangelo a few too many, dumb moments.
Yeah, they really, really made that heavy.
Yeah. There's twice in almost a row when Raph pulls him in for the mission he wants to do to get the purple ooze, and then Mike goes, are we doing something?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, let's talk about this really serious thing that could affect our lives forever. And
he was the one who told Raph about it, and he was being serious about it first, but then he's like, what? Pizza?
Yeah. There were moments where he was okay.
Yeah.
It was just...
A lot better than the first movie, because he wasn't a total creep, at least.
Although he had some moments where he did kind of try and do that, where he's like in between Casey Jones and April and be like, hey, you guys aren't together. This is really weird.
Yeah, he's like, are you two a thing?
Right, yeah,
and it's just
that's it.
They're two people who just met. Why are you even insinuating, boy and girl, are you gonna fuck her?
After I heard about the, Turtles turning into human, plot element, I was totally expecting them to turn into human for, a split second, hit on April, and then be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that never happened, so I'm really, really pleasantly surprised with that.
That was, one of the nicest surprises of the movie after hearing that was a thing in it. That when they come to the decision of whether they want to try and pass as human, Raph just smashes the damn thing. Yeah. I thought it would have been funny, though, if, after he'd done that, Donatello's like, I still kind of wanted to...
just swabs it up.
Dude, you don't make the decisions for all of us. Wasn't that the thing you're complaining at Leo for?
Yeah, it really was. Raphael just holds it in his hand and, smashes it without really consulting with anyone.
Yeah.
There's even a moment where Splinter's telling them to kind of do it. He's like, oh, you guys are no longer boys.
Your balls have dropped.
Yeah.
You truly become boys to men.
Yeah. Boys to turtles to men.
Go ninja, go, or something inspirational. I don't know. I don't have much of a point in this movie.
Yeah, Splinter was just sort of there for a couple visual gags and vague wisdom.
Yeah, it was stock wisdom. He was so superfluous in this movie. It's you could drop Splinter and there'd be no change.
Aside from him beating up Casey Jones for a visual gag.
That wasn't needed. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was a funny moment for the turtles and nothing else. Mm-hmm. It was them oh, we're going to troll him, get him to try and attack Splinter.
Yeah. Stupid Casey Jones. He never even suspects, there's a giant rat. They're like, oh man, we don't know about that. It never crosses his mind, I'm with giant turtles.
Yeah, it's also after he's been, freaked out for, an hour over the fact that giant turtles exist and they talk.
More freaked out for 5 minutes.
Well, in movie time. But yeah.
Well, even in movie time, they just show the scene in the alley where he meets them, and then he's kind of over it within a few minutes for the most part.
He's still kind of weirded out in the sewers, though.
Yeah, a little, but I mean, he's accepting this awfully quick.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Anyway, I gotta show a little bit of tears.
Yeah, he gets a little sassy pretty fast. He just starts talking back to them, which worked for 90s Casey Jones, because he was just a gruff vigilante.
Yeah.
And he kind of had a gentle introduction to Raphael, too, so it made sense.
A fight with Raphael. Yeah. Casey's such a weirdo, where he starts off in the movie. I guess he can accept a little more that he can get over it kind of quicker.
Yeah, in the good, well-written 90s movie. Yeah, of course he can.
But, I mean, just having him go, okay.
Yeah. And he's a cop.
Yeah, he's a cop. That's the dumbest backstory for Casey Jones ever.
Yeah.
A cop. He's supposed to be a vigilante.
He's a cop who likes hockey, coincidentally.
Uh-huh.
He's like talking about hockey while he's driving Shredder in the police truck.
He's Arrow Jones, because he's a little pretty boy.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because I'd never seen that Arrow, but he delivers a really dorky line when they've got Shredder in custody, and he calls him a lawbreaker, which I guess is another 87 Casey Jones reference, where he's always like, lawbreaker. But I didn't connect at first when he said, he's just like, lawbreaker, you're going to jail for a long time, dummy. Or something like it. Was
pretty much that.
Yeah, pretty dorky. And I'm just like, all right. And that cop's lost his right to talk. He's like, no more. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's Casey. No!
Hey, your reaction when I told you that was great. It was just like, it's like all hope in your face just faded away. It's awesome.
It was such a dork line, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's Casey, by the way. Fuck.
He was basically a more jokey version of Arrow. He wasn't Casey Jones, and like Arrow's just like a brooding, like superhero-ish type guy.
Yeah. But after he gets suspended, he puts the hockey mask on for a bit.
His whole reasoning is fucking weird. Because, like, they establish later in the movie that he wants to be a detective. Mm-hmm. But the moment, like, he's put on suspension is like, wow, I'm going to be a vigilante now and just beat some heads, I guess.
Yeah. We kind of jumped over it, too. Like, he gets suspended because no one else saw the giant, like, rescue of Shredder that's, like, on this highway road by New York. So there's other vehicles going around. Fucking people would have seen this fucking whole thing going on with ninjas and turtles. They jumped out of the van a few times. They're shooting the manholes, like the manhole covers.
They took down like almost an overpass with those nunchucks.
A
huge chunk out of an overpass.
Yeah. All this stuff left behind. Tons of evidence that some weird shit went down here.
Yeah.
And the police captain who takes over from the other one, I don't know why this was a thing, but she comes in and goes, you suck, I'm in charge now.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, no one else saw this, Jones. You're suspended.
Yeah.
Like, what? No one else saw this?
Yeah, there was another driver in that truck, and they kind of try to establish all throughout the movie that no one ever dies, but that one guy had to have died for this to even work.
Because he would have seen it too, but nope.
Yep.
Where's that guy to say anything? Guess he's dead, but it's okay because we don't mention it with lip service.
Yeah.
So it's okay, but they make a point to show a lot of people, oh, they've got parachutes, they're okay.
Yeah.
There's a part on a plane where Raph makes a point to mention it before he kicks them off.
Good thing you guys got parachutes, and then kicks all the foot soldiers out of the plane.
Parachutes. They also shoot the shit out of the cockpit. Like, he obliterates the whole cockpit. The front of the plane's gone, like, with bullets, with a chain gun or something.
Yeah, Rocksteady basically opens up with, like, a tank. Like a machine gun on a tank inside a plane.
And no bullet touches these two pilots. And then they fly out, and you see parachutes. Just like, okay, there's definitely some mandates going on here about no deaths.
Yeah.
Or at least you can't really highlight anyone dies.
Yeah, there can't be any implied death anywhere.
Yeah.
They tried to sneak it in.
Except for that one guy driving apparently died.
Yeah, like he was like kicked right out of the truck and like rolled on the ground, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, you saw him roll. And the fact that they don't try to get him to corroborate Casey's story is the biggest sign that he's dead.
Yeah, or at least in a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's going to be a vegetable.
They really should have like an awkward scene in the hospital where his family's just like sitting there crying, and then cut back to Casey Jones being like, "Oh, turtles, I guess."
Yeah, there's a few moments though, like the fact no one saw this, giant prisoner escape and all the commotion. And like CRT monitors and stuff.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
They don't know what year this is sometimes.
Yeah, they did pan through the police station and there's just a bunch of like CRT TVs on everyone's desk. And it's like, why? Yeah. Also, it's like they established that like news crews are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why wouldn't they have a helicopter?
Yeah. Well, I guess they don't have their best reporter
That's
who's
true,
got
yeah.
her camera phone on
Megan
the
Fox.
job. She's the only one who can get them.
Yeah, she
But
forgets
she
to-
was on the overpass and her camera said low light and wouldn't do anything. So there was no footage.
It's like she didn't try to do any reporting throughout the entire movie. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you kind of get the impression throughout the movie that she's just kind of homeless and just does shit for the turtles as like their bitch or something. Like it's
you have no idea what she's doing for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I help you guys as blandly as possible, and you don't believe anything I say. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's like every scene is like Donatello handing her a gadget that will do all the work for her.
Yeah.
You're like, don't worry, you just have to plug it in.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's plug and play. Oh.
I'm just trying to run through the plot in my head. 'Cause it's just like a flash of images.
Yeah, it really is hard to try and remember how they do some of it because they just don't bother taking you along for some of it. It's just like, oh yeah, and this happened now. Just deal with it and moving on.
It's really sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
Like in some things that was kind of good because it was like, oh hey, that I remember that from my childhood. That's cool, I guess. But other times, like I can't follow this garbage.
Yeah. Bebop and Rocksteady were kind of okay as humans.
Yeah.
Not horrible, I guess.
The one thing that really stuck with me though is they had this little bit where they bump fists and go, "My man," and there's a bit in one of the episodes of Rick and Morty where and it's just like my man, and they say it the exact same way.
Yeah.
They say it the exact same way, and every time I hear that, I just think of my man.
But and Rocksteady is Sheamus.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
But he was okay.
Yeah, they're fine. They kind of tried to make them seem more gross than they probably could have.
Yeah, they made them awfully fat once they mutated.
Yeah, like
I guess they just ate buckets of Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, because they're both really fit dudes. And
yeah,
it's just like, oh hey, now they're fat animals.
Yeah, we have to get to them mutating.
Oh yeah,
they get some purple ooze from Krang, and then they just mutate into a rhino and warthog, and we were both like, "What? Yeah. Why did they turn into those?" And then we thought that was dumb, but then they gave us an explanation to make it dumber, which was everyone has dormant genes for a certain animal.
It's dormant genes from their ancestors, and it's like from a rhino and a warthog. How are you descended from a rhino and a warthog? You're humans.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
can we check your science on that? Yeah. You get that from Steve Jobs, the scientist.
I also liked how, like, when they got the goo, Shredder just hands it to Baxter. And he's like, oh, alien goo. I'll just put it in my science machine. He had a
machine already set to extract this thing from this weird alien canister. Like, what?
And then he knew to just turn it into, like, injectable things.
Yeah, he knew this. Like, he had already watched this episode where Shredder and Krang met before this, too.
Yeah.
It's like there's whole giant leaps here where we feel like there's another movie in between this.
Yeah, I really feel like they need an extended edition where they put the rest of the movie in there. But then the amount of information Krang gives Shredder is not enough for Shredder to do anything with. Alright, I'm from another dimension, and, if you get these 3 things, then I can take over the world, I guess. Here's some goo.
Yeah. And will you help me? He's like, yes.
Yeah. And then he just teleports him back, and he's like, this goo will do everything we need. It'll make us soldiers. And it's like, how did you figure that out from just, here's some goo?
By the way, JL really agreed with Shredder.
Yeah.
He's looking a lot better than he did in the first one.
Yeah, he really healed up.
Yeah. I did like Shredder for the most part in the movie.
He was fine.
Yeah. He didn't wear his helmet too much, but he's fine.
He really only wore his helmet at the end.
Yeah, and I liked his helmet better in this one than the first one, because you could see his eyes at least. Yeah,
it was pretty cool. He looked like proper Shredder.
Yeah, but then it's just kind of like, it was so weak once you actually got him in full Shredder gear, because basically he's like, after he'd helped Krang, and then the Tetris movie starts happening. So you just see a dumb piece, and then it's just like, what is this Tetris movie? And it really was. It's just, for some reason, once they get the Technodrome coming to Earth, it forms via little Tetris pieces.
Yeah.
And once it gets together, it breaks apart like a Tetris because they have a little drone take away the magnet, and then it just falls apart. Yeah. Does have the eye on top of the Technodrome briefly.
Doesn't really do anything.
No, and you barely get to see that. Most of the time, the Technodrome's just these little pieces, and you're just like, what? Why is the Technodrome in pieces?
I feel like they're almost saving that for a sequel or something. The way
I think
they set
so
it up.
too. Yeah, it felt like a lot of it was just like, anyway, we'll do something with this later.
They wanted to have some weird build up to the climax.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, you know what's really slow? I guess we build the Technodrome piece by piece.
Yeah, it feels like they're building up the fully intact Technodrome for another movie, and that's why they don't give us it here.
Yeah.
They're just like, you almost get it, and then it goes away.
Well, that's sort of like with Krang too, because he
doesn't do too much.
He's in 2 scenes in the entire movie. He's in that one scene with Shredder, and then he's at the end, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a single interaction with the turtles.
He also has a gruff voice, which I didn't particularly like that much. I wish it was a more
like whiny
voice. But
it was okay.
It wasn't the worst, but it felt like an odd voice to me coming out of a Krang character.
One thing that I found weird with Krang and with like Bebop and Rocksteady is like it's like their artists tried to make everything seem really gross. Like it was like Krang was like really goopy and drippy, and like he was rubbing his. They made a joke where he's like rubbing his mucus on Shredder, and like Bebop and Rocksteady, they're farting, burping, picking their nose. Like, you see their butt crack in one scene or something. Yeah,
it was like I mentioned to you when we were watching the trailers for like Ice Age. I think is like every kids movie these days apparently needs to have somewhere where they show butts and fart.
Yeah, it's like weird bathroom humor is back, I guess.
Yeah, and it has to be in everything.
Yeah,
like. There sometimes well-timed jokes like that work, but it's been such overkill lately. I just mostly sigh about them. Yeah.
But then they just lay out like, oh, Bebop and Rocksteady are fat and gross.
Yeah,
cool. There's just gross enemies.
Yeah, they were mostly caricatures of things because
they were fine with being mutated. It was weird.
You never get any moments with them feeling anything about the fact they've just been scarred and mutilated into something else.
It's like from the moment you see them, they're just like goofy, jokey guys, and it's...
Well, they do a cliche joke of like Casey looks at their file before he's on his suspension, which has like nothing pretty much but favorite bar. And he's like, I wonder if they're at their favorite bar. Yeah. Cut to them at their favorite bar.
Yeah.
I was saying it would have been really funny though if like Casey burst into the bar. He's like, gotcha! And then they're not there. Yeah. And they're like at the bar across the street. Yeah. Like, I'm so glad we decided to go to a different bar.
Yeah, the whole place was shitty. Yeah, they went to their favorite bar to get cell phones from the bartender, who was like a crime bartender or something.
Yeah, who was fucking that shitty boyfriend in 30 Rock.
Oh, right,
just waiting for him to call them dummy. Dummy.
Yeah, he also had a GPS attached to all his crime cell phones for some reason.
Yeah, he gives that to Casey after... Casey shows up too late, by the way, so it isn't even like he finds them at favorite bar. It's Shredder who goes there, and he's like, wow, this is the place where everyone knows your name. Let's go. And then...
See like Bebop, Rocksteady, and Frasier.
Ask me, they weren't smart enough for this place. And then he looked at his cell phone after. He's like, I shouldn't have got my cell phone from the bartender too. He's been tracking me this whole time. It's the place where everyone knows where you are.
But seriously, like he's a CD bar owner who gives like sketchy electronics like burner phones to criminals.
Yeah,
and he has a GPS tracker for them. It's like that's like the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah,
it's like it's like oh yeah, just know where all my crime friends are at all times. Hey guys, want to hang out and do some crime?
Cry assured them it's safe with me unless someone roughs up my fucking jukebox.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah. So when Casey gets in there, he goes from like cop to crazy in one scene, and like the moment he shows up, he's like, "Oh, nice bar you have." Throws a glass, like starts smashing shit up. He's like, "Oh, that's my favorite tune on the jukebox." It's like breaks it open, like, "Oh, it's scratched," and like starts throwing shit around. Jimmy Cracks always. That's like his street name.
And then he gets mutated into Triceraton, and they suddenly have the Casey Jones and April have zero chemistry, and then they imply a romance between them at the end.
Yeah,
they're just like, "Oh, I'll show you how good I am at hockey. I know your human games." And then her face falls off and reveals electronics. Oops.
Yeah. Then she puts on like makeup and dresses up like a slutty schoolgirl. She's like, "Look at me, I am attractive."
Wow, she's right. She is attractive, right, guys? Dude, dibs.
There's spots where she's running around like away from the Foot Clan, and she's wearing like high heels. It's like,
oh yeah, you pointed that out. As after she stole the purple ooze from TCRI.
Right. Oh my god! Yeah, she just walked into that building.
Yeah, they have no security. And we actually see some security later when Vern does something.
Yeah.
But fuck yeah, she's able to just walk in, get the fucking ooze and leave, and they have some like slider bank doors that they try to close. And she's just standing like, waving at Karai, I think it was.
And she walked, like, this was just after Bebop and Rocksteady were made. She was there watching them, like, just like behind a door or something. And she just walks into this, like, high security facility full of ninjas. Just like...
Yeah, apparently the Foot Clan is just these two goons that they mutated and like 5-foot ninja at this point.
Yeah, they only ever have a handful at any given time.
Yeah, and a dork.
Yeah, a dork. And Karai, who does nothing.
But who, by the way, has portal technology.
Yeah.
But it's a very minor thing. We'll never use it again.
Yeah, it's fine, you know.
And they might accidentally send you to Dimension X in a head of movie, so we don't like to use them too much.
Yeah, we don't want you to see a rock soldier or anything interesting.
Use it again, and suddenly he'll already have been a fly, and we'll have known that already. Oh yeah, Baxter's been a fly for a month. What about it?
Yeah, it's going to open that way. It's going to be the turtles fighting him and be like, how did this happen? You know, whatever.
Krang never has any goons with him either, even though he's brought a whole Technodrome Tetris thing.
Yeah, you would have thought like he'd have, you know, foot soldiers of some kind. He's invading the planet.
Hoping rock soldiers, but yeah, they could have been anything, and you'd expect someone to be with him.
Yeah.
Just like, no, it's him and this fucking war machine, but that's it. No one else is there.
And he just makes friends with Shredder, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll use your guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And, okay. We have Shredder betray Baxter for no real reason. It's just, I don't know, Shredder was mad that Baxter wanted credit for stuff, and he's just like, no one will know who you are.
Probably because
Baxter... Not even at Cheers.
It's probably because Baxter mentioned Steve Jobs, and Shredder's an android guy.
I'm going to betray my tech guy. I don't know really why. I don't have any particular reason to here.
He's actually quite useful.
Yeah, he's the one who got you out of jail, even though he fucked up and sent you ahead of movie. But still, he's very useful to have around. But you just, I'm going to betray you. Okay. Then Shredder goes, time to go see Krang. I'm going to betray you.
Yeah.
What?
How dare you betray me?
And then he literally puts Shredder on ice.
Yeah, he freezes him.
And says he's putting him on the shelf. Like, I'm glad the movie just spelled it out what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're putting Shredder on ice and holding him over till another movie.
He's not going to get any action in this movie. Wait till the next one.
Ridiculous. You spent the whole movie watching Shredder do these things.
Yeah.
Like, it's barely been the Krang show. It's mostly been the Shredder's Getting Revenge show.
Yeah, and it's just Krang takes over. And the Turtles know who Krang is by, like, the Tetris pieces coming in, and they just read on their computer, oh, this is owned by General Krang.
Mm-hmm.
in English. And,
Yeah,
you know,
like you said, like how did that get translated? How do they have that? Like just it's on the computer. Dontel immediately types that up.
And then they see like Krang in his big robot suit. He actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the look of him.
Yeah,
fine.
But yeah, he's like in the big robot suit, just sort of standing there, brooding, looking, and they're like, "That must be Krang, only person we've seen so far." Cool, I guess.
Yeah. Why did they think that was Krang?
Yeah.
Like, that could have been anyone. Like, and then they go up to it and think it's a robot anyway. Like, oh, it's just a robot? Like, why did you think that was Krang then? You didn't even
kind of
see
backwards.
anyone.
It's like, oh, it's just a robot. Oh, that might be Krang.
Yeah.
That should have been the other way around.
Yeah, the fight with him, like, it's very overblown. Like, it's the same problem I have with part of the first movie. It tries too hard to be a spectacle.
Yeah, it was the same fight scene from the first movie. Like, it was the same end,
like
almost
up
entirely.
in the sky, having things fly around a lot more. Like, I guess that's pretty similar actually. And they had the building falling apart.
Yeah,
in the first
it was
one.
the same shit. It was just different art.
Yeah, it's just I wish it didn't try to so hard to be flashy all the time.
Yeah, well, that's Michael Bay's influence.
And like, I'm sick of it. It's like a new movie. Like, it's way more prevalent in newer movies too.
Yeah,
because they usually get too high of a budget, I guess, for these things. Like, let's just throw it around and do pointless shit.
Yeah. That being said, I wonder if they'll have a high budget for the next movie because in the theater was just us and one other dude.
Yeah, packed.
And it was an early screening that was like kind of exclusive to that theater too.
Yeah, this was the first screening here, and one other guy in the theater with us. We're like, oh, really?
Yeah, which was fun for us because we just make fun of the movie.
Yeah,
and wouldn't really bother anyone.
Yeah, we ruined that guy's day.
Yeah,
I was trying to enjoy this very serious movie.
Yeah. Assholes are just making fun of it.
He probably didn't hear us.
No, we were still pretty quiet.
Yeah. We weren't obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
We were nice enough for the one other person who wanted to see it. The fight with Krang, though, even though it did have all this flash around it, it was pretty lackluster. Yeah. And then it was done, and I said to you, like, that's it?
Yeah. Well, the fight with Krang was, like, Krang spinning his arms around while the turtles held on to him. And then, like, he got one of his arms knocked off, and he's like, oh, I have something. And he pulls out, like, a cyber mail thing.
Yeah.
Like out of like those like hologram weapons from Transformers or something, and then like after that he attaches like a big dick gun to his chest.
Yeah, the dick gun. He blew his load on.
Yeah, he blew his load all over the place. Like he blew up like half the Technodrome himself, while Michelangelo was just like going around on a flying skateboard.
Yeah,
and then after that, like I forget, the dick gun gets knocked off or something. And then Michelangelo goes up to him and he hugs.
Yeah.
Like he's like bear hugging him. So it's like he likes to cuddle after he fucks. It's adorable.
Yeah. But then they get a drone and like, I don't know, like this apparently like magnet thing to make the whole Technodrome form is very weakly just on this point that's easily grabbed off. So they get a little drone to come in and grab it and fly it back through the portal, which is still open for some reason.
Yeah.
And just, okay, then the Technodrome falls back apart and flies back through the cosmic crack.
Imagine if the Death Star had its weak point on the outside and it wasn't surrounded by any security.
Yeah, imagine if it was like the satellite, planetary death gun. Yeah. That was the weak point instead of it being a hidden thing. It's just like, oh, you just have to shoot the most obvious thing.
Yeah. Everyone just high fives, Porkin still alive.
Well, then that would be a better movie.
Yeah.
The Porkins away.
They broke into the police station. That was really difficult. They had a really long scene where like the turtles were doing stuff and April and Casey were doing stuff and Vernon even had to come in and like, get people's attention and shit. And then the next scene is like, oh, Bebop and Rocksteady are headed to Brazil. We better break into JFK and hop on a plane.
Yeah.
They just cut to them on a plane.
Yeah, that's easy, apparently.
Yeah. Breaking into a tiny police precinct is way harder than breaking into an airport and smuggling yourself on a plane, I guess. In New York. That doesn't jive.
And another security thing is Vernon goes back to TCRI later to get camera footage to exonerate Casey and April. He just goes in there. There's one guy who doesn't know who he is, but then he goes, "Look, I got the key to the city." He's like, "Oh man, you're the hero who saved the day? Yeah, go get me a latte." Okay.
Yeah. And then just leaves him.
He's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, this is the bad guy's secret lab, and you got one doofus here who's easily starstruck by people he didn't even recognize.
And they did like a visual gag where Will Arnett's trying to like find the lead from the camera down to the recording box, and it just goes all around the room.
It wasn't as good as him selling his breath.
yeah, they make Vernon out to be like this massive celebrity. Like he took credit for everything that happened,
and that stuff was pretty funny.
That was good. Yeah, I mean it's Will Arnett just being Will Arnett.
Yeah, and he was being more Joe Bluth, Will Arnett, and I like that.
Yeah, he was really just like hamming it up, and he was just fun to watch.
Yeah, that he was one of the highlights for sure.
Yeah. Like, just have him literally selling his breath.
Yeah.
Like in the opening where the Turtles are doing their big ninja thing, and then they go to, like, I don't know, what, New York Knicks? Football. Or basketball.
Football.
One of those sports. Basketball.
It was ball sport.
Ball sport. Yeah, so they're going to a ball sport game, and then in the middle, they're playing stuff on the screens, and it gets really serious, and they're like, "Remember that time when the evil Foot Clan took over and people died and it was so horrible?" And it's like, wow, this is really depressing for a sport ball game.
Yeah.
And then it cuts away to Vernon like being like, "And the hero who saved us," and like all these newsprint things. Like, that's great. Yeah, because we were sitting there like, this is really weird tonally for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, they're just setting up a really big gag.
Disasters during a basketball game.
Yeah, it's like you go to a basketball game in New York and they're like, "Hey, remember 9/11?
Yeah.
Anyway, have fun watching basketball."
Why was that mentioned?
Yeah, it's really, really inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, they even have a gag, like, during that where the Turtles are shooting spitballs in his face. And that's just fun.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really torn on this movie because the writing is awful, but the spectacle of it and, like, some of the things they did in it were really fun.
Yeah, you're getting to see sort of a live-action 87 through part of it.
Yeah.
With just dumber stuff surrounding that, but,
yeah.
You got those moments that are just fun to watch. You're like, oh, this is fun. I'm seeing live-action Turtles fight live-action Bebop and Rocksteady finally. We've wanted that ever since the second movie.
Yeah, you even see Krang in a cool robot body. Even though he doesn't do anything interesting, he's there, and he looks cool.
Yeah. Shredder looks better than he did in the first movie. There's no double Shredder, so his character's split in half, and he's kind of handicapped through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think this movie really did. It was helped by the fact that it wasn't a rewrite movie like the last one.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was originally Alien Turtles and Colonel Shredder and all that garbage.
Yeah.
So when they had to rewrite that movie, they kind of scrambled and put a bunch of garbage together.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the biggest problem with this movie is that it has the lineage of the previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd been like, we kind of fucked up, so we're gonna reboot and just do all the fun stuff from the start, I think it would have been fine.
It would have been a lot better anyway. I think it's, like we said, it still has some issues that we just complained about. But what I really want to see, though, is just a movie where they do suits again, enhance them with CG. Don't just have the whole CG, but just enhance some cool looking suits.
The facial animation, make that nicer, but still make them look like they're the Turtles.
Yeah, and it helps with everything, I think, because then the actors are playing against something that's better than just someone in a motion capture thing running around.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter if Megan Fox, she could act against the best actor in the world.
You need clearly it's an issue for her. And they keep putting her in her movies acting with nothing. And but fuck. Wish they could try a little more, like with more heart behind it, because it wasn't an issue for the 1990 movie.
Yeah.
They did it so it can be done.
Yeah. Although they had source material for that one, because it was pretty much a straight adaptation of the comics.
Yeah, like with some hints of 87.
Yeah, a little bit there, yeah. Or they could have even taken like some of the stuff they did in the Nick cartoon and just like made it more serious. Because like that show is awesome. They need the grit from that 90s movie, just a little bit of it. Like that movie took it very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aside, the turtles were kind of goofy, but I mean, by and large, they played it straight.
They still had serious moments with them, like when they lost Splinter, and you saw like Michelangelo crying, and
and Raphael in the tub.
Yeah, when they're all devastated about that. Yeah, there's a lot of moments.
Yeah, Raphael going,
damn! Yeah, very serious.
Yeah.
And then they still have the moments of goof off silliness, which this movie kind of nailed with it.
Yeah, they did pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like these turtles better. They're different turtles than they were in the last movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were way more likable in this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, huge props for it over the first one.
Like, I feel like I'm actually going to rewatch this one.
Yeah, I could watch this one again. It wouldn't be my favorite Turtles thing to watch, but I could watch this one again, and I feel I don't really want to revisit the first one like ever. I just had to make a video on it.
Yeah, I never rewatched it after we saw it. It was like I was done. I
didn't until I just made this video. Yeah. And it was because I made a video. Like I had no desire to, and it took me until the second one was coming out to finally revisit that stupid movie.
I would probably list them as the first Turtles movie, second one, CG. This new one, the last Nickelodeon one, and then 3. I don't know.
I put 3 above that one because I can watch it for a laugh.
I guess it's so bad that it's funny. So I guess the last Nickelodeon one was probably the worst.
Yeah. Well, okay, and if you want to include shitty live action series, I will still put Next Mutation under that Nick movie.
Yeah, Next Mutation always will come at the bottom of the list. There's no way that they can make a Turtles product any worse than that.
No, you'd have to really just constantly try to be obnoxious, just like that show did. And...
In that light, I mean, the Nickelodeon movies are great.
But they are currently making a much better series than these movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, you are getting the 87 references with like the crossovers.
Yeah, and then there's the IDW comics, which are actually pretty good.
Those are pretty damn good. They are pretty serious.
Yeah, they play very straight in those. That's what I was hoping, is that over the course of a few movies, they would just sort of rework the CG characters, so it's just sort of getting rid of the nostrils a little bit, the lips, making them downplayed a little, and then by the next movie, they're almost non-existent, and they just kind of look like turtles again. But, yeah, they didn't do that. But Bebop and Rocksteady look all right.
Yeah, the guts are a bit much, but I mean, overall, they looked pretty cool. They acted like dumb Bebop and Rocksteady, I suppose.
They acted like stereotypical Bebop and Rocksteady. They had no depth whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. But they're kind of like dumb to the point of when they were, a bit later seasons of it, where they're like, computer chip, let's eat it. Yeah, they're about that dumb.
Yeah. Seeing Bebop actually wear those glasses and have the mohawk is like,
very strictly, like they stuck to the art style, like just live action with those ones. I wish the Turtles were done that well.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to make up for it, I think, yeah.
And then they ended it with a remix of the 87
theme. Yeah, that was great.
That was awesome.
And they even put in a little bit of the turtle rap, and you cringed for a minute. I was like, oh, it's the Vanilla Ice thing.
Yeah, it didn't hit me first. I was like, oh, yeah, and then I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to start to go into a generic rap, which is why I cringed. Yeah. Then, it took me a second before it hit. Oh, I see what they did. Dumb.
Yeah. The whole ending, they did like this like comic book drawing version of all the characters. Except for Megan Fox.
Oh, she's like creepy as fuck.
They put her in the sexy schoolgirl outfit. It's like you picked the one picture of her out of the movie that makes people cringe.
And then they show this close-up of her smirking. And she looks like she wants to eat a baby or something.
To be fair, that's probably what she's doing between scenes. She's just like, feed me human.
Made me think like she's the Grinch.
That was actually a pretty good cover of the original Turtles theme. It was sort of... It was different people, obviously, but it was sort of in that same style. It wasn't like... Because normally, like, when they do covers of, like, old 80s cartoon themes, they're always, like heavy rock versions, or they're pop or something, but it just felt like that theme song, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It left me with good feels, which, I mean, like, I think even if you were burnt out on the movie, like just getting that would probably this movie's all right.
Yeah, they really pop you with that. Like at the end is like, and here's the best moment. Not that this one's all shit, but then boom, here's this.
Yeah, the turtles also got the keys to the city. That happened.
You have to remind me of that. We were praising it, and then we come back down to another dumb thing.
Yeah, just to bring you down. Yeah.
It's very bizarre because I likened some of this with the dumb police. We're not going to talk about the turtles thing to that fucking stupid scene in Spider-Man 2 where they all see that he's Peter Parker and they're like, we won't tell anyone. Like, bullshit, you won't. Yeah. And the police captain lady, she's like, this never leaves the station. Like, yeah, bullshit. One of these cops is going to go home and be like, honey, I saw fucking mutant turtles at work today.
Yeah. I need a drink.
Yeah. She's like, what the fuck? I'm going on the internet with this. Yeah, go ahead. What the fuck?
The police chief also offered to like make the turtles public and be like, you could have normal lives. No, you couldn't. You're fucking turtles.
This felt so stupid. Like, what world is she living in? Like, yeah, they could try, but that would not go over.
Yeah.
You said, like, scientists would be after them. Yeah. Probably the government.
Yeah. And these social pariahs.
Yeah, people would be mobbing them anytime they went anywhere, even if you didn't have those other two problems. We're just going to kind of Batman this.
Yeah, it's like, call on us when you need us.
Yeah, call us on the bat phone or the turtle phone.
Pretty much. Well, they said, like, just talk through April, so she's their secretary now.
Yeah. Good enough job for her, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's all she does in the next one. Turtle's office. We got one! And we did have a little fucking Transformers reference.
Oh, yeah. There's like a Day of the Dead parade going on.
And a really popular costume for Day of the Dead is Bumblebee.
Yeah. Yeah, like Michelangelo goes out and starts dancing around because it's like, oh, everyone's in costume. That's cool. And then, there's this dude in like this Transformers costume that was like a car that actually transformed into Bumblebee, which looked kind of cool. Like,
that'd be a pretty cool costume. I've seen people.
Yeah, I've seen those too. Yeah, like they're at conferences, like things like that. Yeah. But yeah, they just had to throw in like Michael Bay Bumblebee.
That's the only reason it annoyed me. If it wasn't about the Michael Bay Transformers, I would have been like, that's cool. But I don't know why Day of the Dead's happening.
That was really weird. It was like they went to like a Knicks game and then they're in. It was Day of the Dead also.
Yeah.
And also it was the night that Shredder's breakout happened. It was a very eventful night in New York. Like, there was a lot of shit going on that night.
They asked Bernadette if she wanted to report on anything. No. I'm not in this movie.
We will not report on anything.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad.
Pretty uneven, but it's got a lot more going for it and some fun stuff.
Yeah, there was almost a soul in there.
Almost. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Cut this.